Big box stores can most afford the best sales, and shopping online is an attractive alternative to fighting the crowds, especially during this hectic holiday season. But what is that local businesses have to offer that others can't? And why does shopping locally keep more money in New Mexico? Joining us to talk about this and other news of the week is one of our line regulars, Tom Garrity of the Garrity Group. And our other line regular here today is Rob Nicoleski of the New Mexico Watchdog. They're joined by our guests, former State Senator Dee Dee Feldman, and we welcome back Julianne Grimm, editor of the Santa Fe Reporter. Tom, your company, the Garrity Group, publishes a Garrity Perception Survey. Your recently published results show that local retailers will do well during the holiday season, but there are some severe challenges to getting the idea about what constitutes local, how does one help when one shops local. Let's talk about how a dollar works, though. Let's go there first. What happens when you spend a dollar locally, and what happens there?
Well, obviously, our survey took a look at, how buying patterns of New Mexico residents. Scientific survey, research and polling did this stuff. And, what we found is that a near majority of folks have a preference for buying local. So, nearly on a 2-to-1 margin, people will want to support a local store.
Right.
What the big catch is what constitutes local. Because we asked them to name a local store that they had named, 356 responses later, the top 20 included 16 national franchise stores, and number one being Walmart as a local store.
Wow. 16 out of 20.
Yeah.
Hear what you're saying, though. What an amazingly huge challenge for local retailers.
Oh, absolutely. Because their biggest competitor, who's selling things at a very low rate.
Sure.
And probably quality is suspect, some would say. All of a sudden, they're seen as a local operation. Local stores, they have to be able to spend 2 to 3 times more or make 2 to 3 times more impressions in order to be considered as a viable operation.
And that's where it gets challenging, Dee Dee. Those impressions cost money. You got to advertise, all that kind of thing. So the sense of unfairness is huge here when it comes to this. However, it is business. There's no such thing as fair or unfair.
It's the market.
Right, exactly.
The market.
So what's the answer for local retailers here as we're looking at Black Friday here? Yeah.
I think that the local retailers in Albuquerque have banded together. There are a number of more locally oriented chambers of commerce. I think the Keep It Quirky group is sort of branding that idea of buying local and making it, politically correct, if you were. And I think that that's happening more and more. I think the Green Chamber of Commerce has got the same kind of idea there. And people follow that. And also, if the businesses can group together, they can advertise together, they can work together to message what is local and what is not.
The shop and strolls, those kind of things, those will add to that feeling, Rob, of something's local versus a big box chain. And I'm curious how politicians fit into this. And one might say, what? How does a politician fit into this? But I'm recalling Governor Richardson. He would make a big push every holiday season to shop local. Then I would be frustrated because it would end after January 1st. Do you know what I mean? I've always wondered why politicians don't keep that theme up all year round.
Well, there's a couple of things here. First of all, the economy still stinks. So people are going to go wherever they can get the best bargain.
That's right.
Also, but I think that generally speaking, and I'm a libertarian free market guy, but if all things being equal, I'll go to the local store if all things are being equal.
Right.
But the fact that Tom mentions that 16 stores, major corporation stores, finish high on that list tells me that they're doing a good job of having a good shopping experience, and that maybe the local stores should try more, or at least try to make that local connection a little bit better.
Sure. I think there's an assumption there that people just automatically feel, Julianne, that buying local, you're going to get better service. And you have to earn every dollar in this business. I grew up in a household that had to do this too. It's just, you had every customer is critical. Can't let anybody get away. But Santa Fe is interesting to me when you shop there. You got a lot more smaller stores that you can feel the local thing. It's so on the surface. So
you go to the card shop on Marcy Street, and the husband and wife that own that shop, they recognize you because you work on that street. There's several shopping districts in Santa Fe where it's very easy to park your car, get out, and never really encounter one of these big retailers that made your list. So I think we are in a great environment up there. Just a note about politicians. I think it's interesting that some of the local politicians in Santa Fe really do latch onto this. The last couple of years, they've had some kind of contest where the mayor, last year it was Representative Egolf, where they both go shopping for the day. They sort of get followed around by cameras and they make a big show of like how much they spent locally. And I think efforts like that do sort of, they set an example.
I'd not heard of that. I'm going to look that up. I'd like to see that.
It's really
Tom,
good.
finish this up for us. About 30 seconds left. Again, the importance of buying local.
Well, it is important because the local dollar tends to stay local, whereas a dollar at the franchise level goes to a franchise, and so I think it's the onus is really on small businesses on Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, to really say here's how we give back to the community, to not take their local audience for granted, and to say here's what we can do for you beyond just providing a quality service.
That's a good point.
But it's not just Black Friday. This is a policy question of, buy New Mexico first. When it's the state government, when it's our local school district, shouldn't they be using local fruits and vegetables? Even senior centers or community centers, they can use their budget to encourage local agriculture.
I'm so glad you said that. I think that's part of the answer what Julianne was getting.
And I think people want that. We certainly have that. Santa Fe's procurement code has all of these points built in for local preference. And when contracts go out of state or when they make bulk purchases out of the city, people react to that. Well, where did this come from? It's really important to people, I think.
Yeah, good stuff there. Next up, it's an interview with the biographer of Muppet creator Jim Henson.